akagamba itaka lyona lya government. So amine webi bukaba, he was the law. Ekyagambire ni cheki. What do we see today? Ngukiro kino Supreme Court nekolenchwa munegamba court martial is unconstitutional. The people detained there are detained there illegally. Bahitu nimpole kanti court nesigara nekora na bastaff bayo na abantu abasibi basigara nemisango naine basigara. So if there is a difference, that difference is minimal. Obutwabugiraho tuwataha mu government zaba rule, then later on in 1980s twaja mu Karuru. Why President Museveni and his group went to the bush is because one ngwakaba kuiba ku bururu. Kuiba ku bururu woko as we speak today kuira ijwe mu primary za NRM, Minister of Information
Chris Wariomunsi
akaba nalirira kim nagabuno kusum no president kwa karuti ngabura
mu NRM delegates conference.
NRM delegates.
By the way, I quote
akabira hali
Anita Among versus Kadaga
nibyo byenyine byake ebyo mu 80s mukarura kabira hana ka NRM primaries. I represented some people mu NRM elections tribunal. People were crying, no justice. But hanu akaruru bakaibira ku mgongo ukire na kuli mu tribunal naho no fair hearing, nothing. These were the complaints as our NRA Bahire as an excuse that took them to the bush. Now, after that, tuija tuatunga constitution in 1995. Constitution yenu yakozero rukundo rwenda kyenda n'etaano.
National Assembly. The Constituency Assembly mean.
Kuija kugirora musazino tini yeri yenyine. Being the entrenched articles ezokubereza amani eyo takumaraga kwata zona bakija bakoraki bazikwata akaba tuina constitution yitu egyo ya kyenda n'etaano ikaba nungi muno. One of the key issues in that constitution was term limits. Kandi kintu kya term limits twizire tukirora no mu developed countries like USA. Ngo baba no kuija no borabo li murungi yote oja kulema ubwire bwabo buhweyo ogende omutonde ije akole. Ndicho tukaba twina hano. Wouldn't be having all this fracas.
Why are you calling it fracas?
Kandi zero no bure bizire mbebaho akavuyo akaruru kebira na gumu kakabamo akavuyo kingi internet bagiyeho abantu batiroti ya gasi uvuyo ukaba street za Kampala ukaburora abana bengi bafa ebintu bikaba. So ejo cyabwiraho akabaro atkwende mu constitution. Okay, byono birabereme abantu abakoze constitution yenu bakaba abantu bari very intelligent. Ngo byono biralema at least
emyaka
age of 75 article 102 nayo yakoraki yarugamo nkemanyisaki ngubiri byo bote 1 1966 ebya pigeon hole constitution bigarukira but in another form kisana nkai warughano hatsazin wagaruka kuri aheru wajware koti wagaruka jwire koti atwejware muntu wandi. So ebintu bino ntubibaza habukurumirure nsi yetu abuko hati abakaba baruha abantu bazaba Ignatius Kangave Musazi
Grace
Bingira, they are not here today. Itu tukatakazeyo ngimanshi ensi yenu itukutekaniza ensi y'abana baitu eyibarisanga. We have been talking about peaceful transition. for the last 63 years Uganda tukatungaga mugiso.
President Museveni said of recent, anyone discussing transition is partisan.
I disagree with him. Ekinkugamba kiki ngo hanyuma y'imyaka nkaga n'esatu ngo tutungire independence kandi independence tugamba ngo tuyine democracy for 63 years. No peaceful transition of power. When you look at the preamble of our constitution, it speaks volumes. I'm calling our political history, constitutional history, characterized with tyranny, bloodshed, and things of the sort. Now, when constitution in Ekimeeza as hope, that means from 1962, if we cannot get peaceful transition, we are still complaining about vote rigging. We are still talking about detention without trial. These are the things. When you read the case of Ivingera and others of 1966, these were the issues. And they are here today. Violation of the rule of law and doctrine of separation of powers. Parliament you have what? You have seen money exchange hands when they are important laws to pass and issues to discuss. Our MPs Baba Hussein. You have seen court in the orders. For example, our constitution gives any person charged with any criminal offense a right to apply for bail. And the same law gives the judge discretion to release this person on bail or not. But we've heard on several occasions the head of state saying no bail for capital offenders, no. And he was very bitter. He was actually telling off judges in a certain judges conference. Now, after that, but the constitution says this person is still presumed innocent until proven guilty. The constitution says if a person is arrested, according to right to a fair trial includes speedy trial. We've had lamentations. Actually, these are facts. Here's a message. He was arrested close to 1 year back. By the time you arrest someone, you have evidence, you have intelligence that this person has committed ABCD. You arrest him, charge. The law says produce this person to a competent court within 48 hours. Then speed the trial, right to a fair hearing. Article 28 of the Constitution. Ebi byona bibayireho mu myaka y'inyuma mu government ya mini tubayire ntubisomaho ababayireho bakabirora ngwe bakataro fair trial so obaraba kwasire ebyano
Council last
bine bintu byona bizire mbyagaruka nikukura woneze kutwale from 1962
up the card
mpaka up to current. There are issues of land grabbing. Kime kizibu kya mataka. It started way back in 1928. Chikaleta na appraising, chikaleta horutago, what they call the Bataka appraising. Bataka appraising, abataka bakatabuka. Abukubu bwiro wa mataka garugo bukama na abanyoro bumukama. Wasanga go muntu inde mayiro. Hati wa mayiro obujejagi yo kibanja akunyigiriza kora kino kora kiti ekibanja akitunzi cyo cyareta urutaro bagota bataka praising urutaro abakama bebanja barwana tabatankurwana na balandlords. Hati no how in that process yeja usuru and envujolos usuru and envujolos 1928 ngwati obora okay oleitaka bakora organizing osasuru usuru mu landlord obora ali mu uburo edebe mukaga ibiro stwara landlord. They were ubuvuyo bwa matako from all that time
up to now.
nkemasa tukabaira independent. Ekyakabiri, education system ey'abajungu eyibatuletire to date busaho kikyuke ono new curriculum. I don't see anything.
It's a very big joke of the
It is actually a joke. New curriculum. China, I was watching the other day. China, omwana kugraduatinga kuruga mu nursery agende mu primary. This is pre-primary, naja primary. Nakore tu ibintu tuguraga abana bitunka. Hands on. But hati hito tulahanu tusoma maji rebellion. Mau ono master wange akabisome byasome. Nanye after eva someseze in 1965 nibyo tukusomesa up to now. Wekaguze forestry in Canada. Ninyamba abantu tasomesa forestry in Kibali here.
Thank you very much.
We know that independence remains more ceremonial than reality.
Council, if I'm asking 1 minute, who should be blamed for that?
Our leaders. Because they're the ones who are supposed to plan and think. We need leaders who can think outside the paradox. And you can't come here and start celebrating development when you grow coffee here, but you import, you export coffee
from Brazil.
From Brazil. Go you want coffee you grow in Maduko. You want to neruga here, but to Gilman. You can't talk of a country 63 years of independence when the gates of factories and big companies closed in 1962. Egali yomwiki kajunda ya wako.
Uganda Development Bank.
Akabaru egali yomwika neruga kasesi. Negendera kimu paka haboda. Where is it? Now where is the independence?
Thank you very much, Mr. Thank you very much, Council.
We have been lamenting Hanford Port Industrial Park, where you have goods with no values.
Thank you very much, Council.
No independence.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mjisha, given the background Mr. Natkund has given and the recent one Mr. Council Cage has given, we are not independent as you said at first.
Noreva owete moderator kuba abandi basaba bisho nyo n'abanishaka umashokshika. You cannot say we are not independent yet we make our own policies. There is nobody who want to have a parliament between the legislative, that's the legislative hand,
the executive and the judicial.
Maybe if you want to tell me a few weekends on Masapichi, Uganda is an independent country. You might not consider about a Kanjusa issue Kabaka crisis, 1966. Kabaka crisis was Obote 2. Akavinga, actually that was Obote 1. Akavinga Kabaka from Uganda. Yazum's hero.
In exile.
Yes, in exile. That's why they call it Kabaka crisis. How could you akana kozesa dictatorial means of administration, the real dictatorship. At Kuyamazil, later on, he has a name, 1971, through the coup d'etat. Amazil Kujango, he stole gold from Congo and therefore wanted to be arrested. Young one, Yahochi, Yahopote. When Obote was actually attending a conference in Tanzania. Now, I mean, who is it? Each in the chair and is to disorganize the economy. Actually, some of the effects we are facing today is a
just in a minute, if I'm to ask, Omuntu yahimbere yabinga abahindi. I'm coming. Omuntu yahimbere yabinga abahindi. yabeha mu ihanga ebintu byone byamani abagarura abanya-Uganda the residents of this country. You're saying he disorganized our economy. Don't you think if we had kept them up to this time, it would be...
Before you come in, actually, many are causing. No matter what you go out, because such. A chingu causes a G40 TV nichi get one data akakubinga akakwiham. He was supposed to first of all understand how the economy moves. Areba dynamics of economy kutambura. Then amaragamba ngu abana banje have been trained ate wajungu abahindi mukorechi murudumu. Kongo kuyizire because of egoism kwenda kuoleka abanyarwanda ngo ina mani abahindi yabarachi yababi yakwata in factories zamani ujine mukazi yakwateje mali ya Mungu akana agabara like that even the people who had no knowledge about the economy how to run an industry ichabereho. That's when inflation shoot up to 200%. Inflation ya real money ati chabereho nichi bataniya kumakanisa. I recall even Governor Bank of Uganda. Economy is not doing well. What are you talking about? I go and print more money. That was the time when you saw so many people dying. Jonani Room, when you condemned injustices, Archbishop.
The same things we are seeing today. This the Vice Chancellor of Makere, Franka Karimus, we are going to demonstrating against the injustices in Uganda at that particular time. I mean, what are you talking about? How can students rebel against me when you are there? Then Yamurandika, having refused to accept the white journalist. So, in 1993, kingdoms were restored.
Before you go to kingdoms, if I'm to ask, you have given that background, I mean,
Yes.
And currently, whereby you are seeing all players of economies are allowed to be involved. But our debt burden have
it is not true. Tuichira kuja basi kujishashura numa ineki barita mu tepo okweka ahantu kugira ngo a country can no longer pay debts no wazo mu rate kwa ene loan in the entire country niko kuzo mu banka tukorazibasha kushaba financial statement or financial card ngo wao ine loan mu Stanbic Bank KCB bank may not give you a loan konka kokushanga a country can manage service its loan. That's why ihangani kwachi irihayo ibachishwa nibadiha ibanje. Otherwise wagira ngo ekintu basbichirizingana ho nibone kintu kimwe kugira ngo it is true abajungu nibija. As a country we are not enemies of the whites. As a country we are in partnership with the whites. We are in partnership n'aba China, we are in partnership n'aba Hindi, we are in partnership n'abajungu. Nitukorera hamwe. We need them, they need us. So, because of that, we get money from the whites as in the form of a loan. So we are not economic, we are not independent. That's not true. Now, what a loan in bank, for instance, Stanbic Bank, what a loan over Centenary Bank, which is not independent because I got a loan from the bank.
The worry is the debt burden, Mr. Mjisha. Giving our budget, we cannot yakwikra 70 trillions, 71.9 trillions. And our debt burden doubles our current budget. If I'm saying that...
Let me give you information. Maybe you need some clarity. Our public debt currently, the trillion, 10.24. Trillion 10.16 no butonyeze abana ko twakongira ngo tushashura ezo zonka hatari magoba aza tuguma tushashura billion 5 buri mwaka
nitwetaga emyaka 2-3 kugira ngo twashashura ibanje on condition we are not borrowing and we are only paying that
using the money we have.
Kutwashashura izo zonke ezibugamba 116.24 trillion and we are paying 500 billion every financial year. It will take us 232 years. Actually, one thing we are not bringing out in this public debt, and it's debt per capita. Because that element came Matia Kasaija Kabanageva zao nyuma hao. Ngusazo no munya Uganda depending on the population we have. Tukugamba hata katusasuliwanja rwewe. Buli munya Uganda na bambaja million years.
Exactly.
That is what they call debt per capita. So meaning what? Ngwiwe ne bakubanja no kuja kuzara ne bamubanja.
Thank you very much. Let us give Mr. Mujisha just 2 minutes to respond to that.
If a country yaba in ibanje tiba ko konjera katugire ngo yaba if it is beyond can never receive and
we are mortgaging national resources.
Another one. So meaning ngo ihanga kuba kwereza sente ukashanga no 70 very progressive bakare ngo the economy is growing, as I said at first, the economy is at 6.1%. So nichorekachi there is hope for improvement. Still running bakorachi bakonjera. The most important thing that tubani tugamba on ekintu kimwe kukwata sentence reka tuzikoze 70 bekozeshi ebishemerere kukorwa ebikubasa kureta development. Of course there are those which are being done. For instance, bakwata sentence bakuwayoza PDM, it is up to you to educate your
What is the relevance of getting a loan that you're using it to develop people and add on the debt burden that you have as a country?
Well, knowing every financial year over 10 trillion corruption.
You cannot get a loan when you don't want to add on the development of your country.
Now, the money, just in a minute, sentence again mu corruption scandals. Is to at one time the president of this country over 10 trillions is that against the normal PDM. Why don't we focus on fighting corruption to this center?
If the money was being used effectively, for instance, we have to develop our Fox TV to another level. You are not supposed to eat that money. The problem is one. Our engineer, our watches. You have to my teacher. Who is supervising them? Who is giving them that money? Shangatero kakora sahe guratira kumarebero bivugudu rusisiki. They are supposed actually, these engineers should be accounted.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mujisha. I want to come to you, Mr. Natkunda, in 2 minutes. At 63, what should Uganda do, or what should we focus on currently in Kihanga to see that we really become independent?
Well, I'm taking our program. But in Katabuka, one of the writers, Chinua Achebe. The book is titled The Man of the People. And actually it brings out the description of what he is saying. In his book, Nagamba, the trouble in the new nation now is that none of us is able to accept in our hearts to be that we have to be honest. None of us is able to accept in our hearts we have to be honest. Abantu abahangalire mu NRM nikibatare baneza muno kwikiriza mu mitama yabo ngo twina kubariza abantu amazima oba twina kuba bamazima, which is why Kenneth no mukaguze kikaguzo na gerati na kana baharbaji. So back to your question, to collect korora ngo ebintu twabitereza. First of all twine kwikiranganiza ngabanya Uganda ngo government itwine kwemberwa umukuru Museveni na group ye ngo tikire mu kwetaga kwabo mu kwikiranganiza kwabo ngo ni hanga nisobara kuchungurwa ni hanga niso kutunga direction yehikire ni hanga nisobara kutunga obwebembezi obukuhereza abantu obugabe obukubahereza political space obukubahereza economic space yokurora ngo twatunga progress ninyolekerezake ngo ninyikiranganiza na umuntu wena rukugamba ngo ni hanga tuine kumega reset tukombeka ekintu ekishaka na abantu abashaka actually nyowe nitekereza political differences aside umuntu wena rusobara kwiza akataha mwihanga muno akatekaho government eyesobara kubinga abakozi abali mu top government abatali hansi y'umutwaro gumu nabaine cyakuja gukora mwihanga rero abo we have reached that ngo buri muntu wena ikirize ngo namberai aina kosekene korora ngo nawe yari as long as is protected by the regime nicyo korora ngo buri muntu sazo tutungira abantu bengi nabe soma bamataka aba kanso kenda tawe na abazao it is very hard kusanga umuntu kubazao na ibitaka ataliwa na rem this is not about begere bisaru they are putting on yellow because they know ngo kasta mara kujwalo cha yellow na bamaze kutunga protection ngo government inaweza kumuhereza abako bagiteriraho ombi. So we need a new government that can build systems new yesobora kuvinga ino vakalengo y'abantu bana abatwetorere abasuma abatasobora kubaza amazima mitema yabo abatasobora gambera ngo kintu kigwira uko ya building for generation zazukwija niko teka hikite kishaka tubutunge progress nshaka ihanga lino live independent otherwise we are still in captivity kandi tugibaira mu kumara emyaka kusingaho tukuzerability.
We wala muno Mr. Natkunda Council no tekeza, can we be independent when President Museveni is still leading this country?
Actually, for me, President Museveni is not the problem. The problem are the people surrounding him. Because him as an individual, he's doing the work with the team. He's an old man. The people who are surrounding him are the problem. For example, you're coming here telling us the gains. You're telling us about development. We want to see. We must see what you're talking about. What is on ground now? What is on ground is that we have a poor education system. Abana, even as we speak today, abana babanta bana balimbia. Abana babagiga bali masomero ga private ngasom. Abasomesa, they hear crying. Really, you get free money, billions of money. You get 100 million. No gihan individually, omuntu omwati. And then when a teacher who is earning 400,000, 300, you're complaining. You harass that person, you call him or her dishonest, whatever kind of words. That shows that there is no development, there is no independence. Hano ntubazaho, we had nkokumbagambiye tukaba twine egari umwe hano train ye kurba izirinka bikavwa mu marwaro hano abantu kenefero mukuru wange no bimanyi ngo umuntu yagendaga mu irwaro asanga yimbaza janja bari aba doctor bari qualified
na kasera ari nebyo
byo manya leta yo mutwaro ebire kabidali nebyo kurya no bitware yesterday mbere nimbaza no mukuru sana ngamba ngo obwo byo yarabangwa nakagaje namanya hakitabu wodi nambeno onu muruye takulia nyama na chenyange bimba bihawo onu omusaite ine mubiri ebyo kuri kumwamba biro akadodo odi na etaga mata mbagamo bulangisi ne suka biro enu kabiro but sazino situation yero sazino muirwaro ngo ekyamana mune cyo kusanga ni panado nayo ubundi kutagisangayo. Do you want to tell us that things are better? Omusomeso wa karu kabantu manyi kara omusomesa yijaga alisemate muno agenda nyonyi ne nkurunyowe is a retired teacher but up to now na smartness ere kasigaramu abasomesa bamanyiro kuba smart. You are getting billions of money no kwata omuntu, let's say wakora mu Uganda Airlines nabagana milioni 8 plus no kwa medical insurance nguwe nabana bino ba medical.
How do we solve this stage?
Omusomesa rukubagana emitwaro 3
Council, because of time, how do we solve this?
No giha omuntu owakutunga omusara milioni 30 no ko omusomesa kutunga milioni emitwaro 3 emitwaro 2 empana na terekera kanegata gini. And you want us to believe in going development no kolegi tutenya na ka factory aka kolekisura rundi tomato sauce rundi sabuni buli kimwe kiyahiyo hanu kitu wiki. So with all that,
like I'm submitting a given you.
What we want to see is when you're talking about development, let's put there story telling us sweet words tugambe ngo hari kijura factory ngicho o tukole toke bibi abana banyu
orugudo
rukora bakora o twabahanu tugambe orugudo rya bimwe hanga rugegere wine ekigumire kiki kolegali umwika kurugabundu bujyo ekarabahanu foto cyenjuje kajya Kampala ngunkaruga hano nyowe nkagenda saa 2 nkagenda Kampala ngatunga no musango gwange 6 5 nkagaruka nkakora bindi nkora niko kujya kwije betuzime stories twin tisi kujya kuleta nkora wewe kurona ubwire buhitire ngo ecyuno cyagambere mu Taiwan ngo tuyine kucyusiza kimwe abantu abari mu position zimwe za government. President Ugo twine, by the way, considering how this old man managed the COVID, if you got a good team okagimo he will perform, but hati kihuka kiri kicholi hicho kihamiri ekitwine kukora ekicholi cyona kichwaho tukiteke muru to resetting nkuko mtawanga gambe. I agree with you.
Thank you very much, Council. Just in 1.5 minutes because of time, giving you information, then you respond to some few questions.
My brother, icyo kugira ngo nogamba kintu kibeho ibyo bikabubirwa when God was creating the universe. Let there be and it was.
Let there be light.
It's all about really planning.
We're talking about 63 years.
No, 63 years you are forgetting one thing. When you almost reached the middle income status, tukatunga we are under rock. Listen, we are under rock for almost 3 years. When the economy was just stagnant.
3 years is nothing going to 63.
2020.
Okay, let us discuss 60 years, Mr. Mjisha.
But no,
Okay,
because as we are progressing, tukatunga more issues. There are no challenges. We have talked about the issue of corruption time and again. But what I want to assure you is that Uganda is dependent. You know, draw infrastructure development across the country. Leave alone a few roads which are possible and to undergo repair. But at least Norga, Chenjoju, Okwata Kagadi, Okwata Masindi, Pakarira within a single day.
But what are you producing that is more?
Now the question is, what are you producing? Why do you use this road to go to Kagadi to take their rumors? The rat has been hit by a motorcycle. Why? You are supposed to use the land you have, produce at least a bunch of matoke, take it to the market. So that also you have added value. If government has constructed a road, for you, what is your relevance as a human being in that particular area? Or you go instead you kukora ukahabura. If you are naga PDM, oyango yichirize enyongera no teka baga onjene choro na chimwe. There are people who are going to be actually to gain from PDM because that was a pilot study. We have here sent the PDM but until percentage bagonjere zindi. Echinda kwichirizingana naho n'ikintu cyo kugira ngo ishuke y'abashomesa. We have always talked about that. Abashomesa as president total scientists also as teachers babateka teka. It is on record. We've talked about it. And we are again asking our president, our wonderful president, our Shumesa ba arts, na who are considered. Then in Maria, Ningambangu, you have a parallel.
I don't know whether it is working or not. Ekyokubanza kya byonna resource appropriation na actual allocation bikolebwa mu parliament. Members of parliament nibo kimekweni bagambira nigamba we have this for teachers, we have this for infrastructure, we have this for the Uganda Railway, we have this for servicing the debt. Then ekindi wagira ngu omuntu naaba nakola ARA akora nanka yenyoni department ekwandure
Director Uganda Airlines bamuturaki.
Yes. What does the law say about their remuneration? Ebyo bintu byona bibakora are within the law.
Mugisha, because of time ninja kusaba oraga abantu genderekimu.
So hati nenda kusima buli mona ku watchinga full TV yetu ya Uganda kandi ekintu ngenda kugamba nukulangu we are really grateful to be independent. The independence no zitibwa kujeha ndeka kugira ngo it is cage going to give you that independence. Ako kikubanye mbiya wa independent rubu namara kugamba ninza kushora nta kinakuza kunkwata. Security is there and it was ushered in by His Excellency and team and security. So nienda kugumiza ngo as we continue to work hard to make Uganda better than what it is today, it is my responsibility, it is your responsibility.
Thank you very much. Council, just in 1.5 minutes, as we conclude on the topic of discussion and your message to the people of Central, what should we expect? Days are moving.
Ocho muno, turugira mwoko mbi independence, nenkurakurana, ebintu bintu byona ntubibaza mu Burundi bwensi yaitu. Ntubibaza nyo for example tinde musomesa. Bwitu musomesa nandum. Akuwa musomesa nuyamfere kikindi sanje. Ebiro byokwezi 22 Burundi 23 guno mwezi nyo na mtahi wangu tugenda kuhandikibwa oturamara kuhandikibwa nyo kali mukagamba ningenda kwijagaruka mbantu kusera usagiki ensonga yetulesere mbwebembezi ite ntwenda ubwebembezi obu kutekereza nk'uko ensi yitu iragenda mu maiso kutekereza ibintu ebirungi nico ndukugambira mutanga nikiranganiza nawo ngo ibintu byona biri mbiragiro really ubona bano ukora ikiragiro nororore umuntu nabagana miliyoni 8 plus nuko kugamba ngo abana bo bararwaraga bajanjabirwa busa nawo bararoga janjabirwa busa bitunoye umuntu wole okutunga imitwara 3 akapanga isenje imitwara 15 akarebye ukuri bimitwara 2 nawo naenda kujwana no kurubata nibo bwebembeze utukwendo obwebembeze okurumirirwa omuntu atali obwebembeze obwekugondeza wena nebi bigambe bike ari ensonga enkuru muno mu manifesto yange wirubarabuhikire bijagihayo ensonga y'emisoro abantu abaire baine n'emisoro abasubuzi nosanga omuntu nasasura emisoro 3 4 5 ekintu ekikigwira kuba ekiragira ekitwine ky'emisoro nikigamba double taxation kusasura umusoro kabiri tikikwikirizibwa bitu abantu hano basasura emisoro 4 5 mukaga hakintu kimwe nebyo ebike nitwija oturatu mazero kuhandikwa kandi batwikirize kusera usagiki nitwija ku bantu barekaho kandi obukuturangwe bembezi tibule gama ngwitu ntufwa witu kwerwanije twenka nturwanije ensi yetu ensi yawe neyo mwana wawe no wange nyenje ote muno mukama balinde morali ko
ote muno Council. Natukunda also just in 1 minute we wrap up the show.
Ingaza kusima abaizere n'abatuwakinga for TV of course ntongere responses kuruga mu district kwa kana. That's why I've been checking my phone. Abantu nabo watching for TV and enjoying this program. Of course na comments zindi hana hali baitu nikimpa amani kulora ngu for TV is covering more than just Toro but even other areas abukuwa comments zinkutunga tiziriza Toro zonga halimu Bunyoro halimu Uganda na Ankole na handi so nikimpeza amani muno kwa kumugezi wangu na basoborolire itwe ibira 23 tuja kwehandikiza nyoni nsera akaruru ko kuratira abantu bamwenge y'amatemba tinkusera akaruru ko ngaro nsera no busagike actually brought it better ubusagike by the way mu karuru is not about only vote no sobara gura amafuta no sobara gura reflectors no sobara t-shirts no sobara kora nomination no sobara posters no sobara buli kintu cyone so utugamba nsero busagike we are not limiting Kigambe kabateza bakaruru kwimuko kaja kutera akaruru. We also looking into a bigger perspective ngo umuntu rutale wa constituency nasobora kusagika candidate wa constituency egi kurara yatunga akaruru kamusemerire bamurangira yembera abantu at the end of the day we are building a parliament of one country kandi zona zina contribution. I can tell you ngo kakuwa member wa parliament no bako bale wa footput wako bale vibrant impact ya quality kuyamba footput yonka na yamba ihanga liona, which is why in most cases halo ba MPs abazora parliament torora kemo they are representing the whole nation. So ni saba abantu ngo basagika abebembezi abaine kibakuja kugasa muno mu parliament kandi abakuja kwemera nabo because turozera abantu bengi nibaruga nabe barugere nibagenda ku representing ebitebe basindikire instead of the interest of the people. Ni saba abantu ngo bakoma abantu abakuja ku representing abo bakubajwekera kandi bakatwara ensonge zo kubakwataho mu kikaleke nuko tube na parliament yina mu mugaso parliament yina mwesa parliament ye kudiscussingiri hanga yitakufavaringa omuntu omwe ba group ya abantu batatu nebe byona abantu betu bayale kurungi nongarukira
Muti muna hawambere nyine mu studios. I was having Pan-Africanist Mr. Mjisha Kenneth, Council Keija James Arali, and Mr. Natkunda Innocent, Pan-Africanist and independent person, and one from the National Unity Platform. Nisima buli muntu wena wabe nathondera wekirucha hati munganyira kutakwata amasemo owitu wike bunywanu weitu, but next time ni mbagama timja kwata mzamu tukwata amasemo nge tubentuga kwata msama ntiyoguma 4 TV orojoro hati awantekaniza stalizimu na zimu eziro nizija na sigari nyokiza Robert hawentekaniza yawe Ekimeeza. A very good night.